What's up? What's up? What's up? This your boy JG, back with another video on music tips and reviews with JG. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, please press the subscribe button so you'll be updated on all my latest content. Like I always say, appreciate all the support, all the love y'all show for my channel. You know, still trying to keep it growing. Just very inspired by other content creators on YouTube. Really inspire me to really keep going in my passion for music. And so $ jgilzva if you want to support my Cash App. And also as you're watching this live, if you want to send a super chat, you want to support financially, that's appreciate the love. So I want to talk about this topic, gospel music industry, how today's gospel music is different, sort of different from the way it used to be. And the gospel giant, Donnie McClurkin, he had views on the music industry of today, the gospel music industry of today. And I thought we'd check it out because it's a lot, as far as, social media now, the influence of social media, influence of worldly things. It's kind of getting into the church, it's getting into award shows, it's getting to all types of things, and even in the gospel community. So I want to get into that. I want to get into this video of Donnie McClurkin really talking about, what's really going on in the gospel music industry. Because, he's from the earlier years of the gospel music, like the 90s and the late 80s, when he really was prominent. But he's still going with the Donnie McClurkin show on the radio and stuff like that. But let's listen to his views, on the gospel music industry. We're gonna check it out. Again, thank y'all for watching. So we're gonna get to it.
If you can watch now, the industry called gospel music today, you see that a lot of it is solely for the aggrandizement. It is for the awards. It is for the popularity. And we use gospel,
and that's the confusing thing about gospel music, gospel artists. I've always had a problem with that. Gospel artists being very flashy. It's just all about appearance, but it's not about the message they give through their music, and that's the most important thing as far as gospel artists. I know marketing and I know that stuff is very important, but sometimes it gets in the way of the message of the music. You think about even the female artists, they get kind of flashy, or they wear tight clothes and stuff like that, and that can be a distraction as far as gospel music, in the church. And so let's listen to more what he got to say about the gospel music industry.
As the foundation, gospel music, but we're building all of this carnality on top of it.
Yeah.
Who can get an award and who can get the
So when he said carnality, those people that don't really, read the Bible and stuff like that, they're not really into the Bible. But carnality, when he said carnality, it's talking about worldly things. He's talking about the gospel artists. I get more into worldly things, worldly objectives, or worldly motives, into their music and into the way they act.
The television spot and who's going to be on the televised award show and the like, and that becomes the goal. You go to the award shows now, and you platform all of the gospel artists and all the new gospel music, and then you go to the reception afterwards, and it's drinking.
Yeah, and before you get to this next part, when he says it's the goal, I see what he's saying, because their goal is just to get the award, but their goal is not to win souls to Christ. As gospel artists, it's more about their own worldly things, worldly pleasures, or worldly accomplishments. It's not about bringing people to Christ. That's not their main objective. Like, if you listen to their music, it's like, oh, I know Jesus now. I know God is the head of my life now. It's more like, I'm glad I won this award. I sold this many records, but it's not about winning souls to Christ. So I see what he's saying.
Who's going to be on the televised award show, and the like, and that becomes the goal.
Yeah.
You go to the award shows now, and you platform all of the gospel artists and all the new gospel music, and then you go to the reception afterwards, and it's drinking and secular music.
Wow.
You got an open bar. They're playing nothing but secular music at a gospel award show. So this has become the norm.
So he's saying it's like, these gospel artists, they're not true with what they sing about. In other words, they're being hypocritical on the message that they say they have in their music, and they're drinking and doing all types of stuff at the after parties. So the gospel music industry, they have after parties after their awards, like Stellar Awards and stuff like that. They have drinks and all that stuff, just like the world does, and it should be a difference between the secular world, the way they celebrate, and the way the gospel world celebrates.
Norm, because we've let down the guard. The guardians have let down the standard, and now there's another standard raised, where it's all according to what you think is right. And the Bible said there's a way that seemeth right unto a man, but the end of those ways are the ways of death.
Yeah, and so, these artists is getting to their own self-glory, and they think this the norm, and they think it's right in their own eyes, but in God's eyes, it's not right.
So that's where we find ourselves. We're singing a great message, but we're not living a great life.
So the word to those who look up to you, respect you, who believe in you, that may not know the way, like you say, the generation of today, so that they can, if they're on that path, what would you say to them to abort that mission?
Oh, man, there's so much to say, because there's so much to institute and there's so much to dismantle.
And, shout out to Donnie McClurkin. You never heard any really bad things about him. He discussed, what he went through when he was younger, the battles he dealt with when he was young, if you read his book and stuff like that. But, I always seen Donnie McClurkin as a really upright man. He really don't get into a lot of drama as far as a gospel artist is concerned. And I think he really has he really cares about, what's going on in the music industry. He said one sentence and said nothing. Wow.
Yeah. This generation has risen up that doesn't know God really in that sense. There's a lot to say. The first and foremost thing that I could tell anybody in the multiple generations that are underneath.
Appreciate you, Darren.
Is let Jesus Christ really be the Savior. Let him really be.
So if you come in there, he's talking about the gospel music industry has different, they kind of get into the worldly things, as far as like, the award shows. The goal is, for a lot of these gospel artists today, it's the awards. They don't think about, winning souls to Christ or, leading people to God and stuff like that. All they care about is, being flashy. And I've seen that, social media, these gospel artists is so much into themselves and what they got, how many people is after them, how many runs they sing and all this stuff. But it's not, Yeah, and they've been getting robbed for years. The gospel music industry is not is far from uh, the gospel music industry is not far from the secular music industry. They've been getting robbed for years. Gospel artists, bad contracts. I saw R&B Money podcast. Shout out to Tank and Jay Valentine. They talked to Isaac Curry how when he was in Man the Standard, they had bad contracts, and the managers treated them bad. Didn't hardly get paid for certain things, so they had to go to the world, the secular world, to really make a living with their music. So it is what it is.
The one who sanctifies us. Let's learn what sanctification really is. Let's come out from among them and be separate from them, and not touch the unclean thing. And he said, everybody says, God is we're all God's children. We're all God's children.
Yeah.
That's not what 2 Corinthians says. He says, only when you come out from among them, and only when you're separate from them, he said, and then I will be a father to you. It's conditional. And then I will be a father to you.
So he's really basically saying, these gospel artists, they got to be separate from, what the world says, and so God can honor them in the right way. A lot of these gospel artists, sometimes their objective is to be in the gospel industry just to be successful in life. Some gospel artists they've grown up in the church, so that's all they know, but they really have other mindsets. Their mindset is not teaching people about the word. It's about just gaining success, getting money. But then they go in the industry and they find out that money that money's not there, and they turn to R&B. They might do an R&B album, and then they go back to gospel, they go back to R&B. Wherever the money is at, that's where they go. So,
and then you will be my sons and daughters, because you've come out from sin. You are living like me now in holiness. So we've got to get back to holiness. Live like God. And stop making
yeah. But on here on Sunday Best, it's TV shows which was secular. That's a point, Darian. That's a point. He was a part of that secular, secular, that secular community, on Sunday Best. That's true. I wonder if that's why he got off, because he saw some things in the back, that wasn't good. So that you got a point about that. He was on Sunday Best. So that's a point. So he made, put it in a comment if you think he's being hypocritical about this topic. I could say about myself, I kind of gotten away from the gospel music, listen to gospel music, because it's like, you always hear stories about these gospel artists. They just secular as the worldly artists. They lives doesn't line up with what they sing about, and so that kind of got me away from gospel music. I still love God, but what you hear about behind closed doors about these artists, these preachers, it didn't line up with their music. So that kind of distracted me from really wanting to listen to a lot of gospel music, because they doing the same thing, but at the same time, they're flesh as well. They're human as well, but still they should, like he said, be set apart.
Excuses for the carnality that we've held on to, that we wanted.
So appreciate y'all for watching. That was Donnie McClurkin talking about the gospel music industry. Talking about the things that was going on in the gospel music industry that he views. And shout out to Darian. He said gospel industry is a music industry. Just they getting robbed more based on the fact that you're singing for God, right? Yeah, that's true. Cause even in the normal church, you know, it's facts. Gospel musicians don't get it paid as much as secular musicians, that play for these big artists, and that's facts. And that's the same thing in the gospel music industry. They're not getting paid as much. Tank, he talks about that. He went to R&B. He wasn't getting paid like he wanted to. Bad publishing deal with a gospel group he played for and wrote for, and he went to the secular world. He went to R&B, and he found out that the secular world was paying him more than the gospel world. So, but we always talk about God is on a cat on 1,000 hills and all this stuff. But why is the gospel music industry not paying as much as the secular world? That's a question you have to mention as well. They said God owned a cat on 1,000 hills, but they not getting paid as much in the gospel industry. And so that's something that you got to think about. And appreciate y'all for watching this. This is a very good topic, and I might have more about it because I saw Erica Campbell. She had a video about the gospel music industry as well. Her and her sister Tina, they've been successful in the gospel music industry for a long time. Shout out to Mary. They've been, but I've been questioning, their, motives sometimes, because what they were and stuff like that, being gospel artists. People been questioning them. They've been questioning Kurt Franklin. I remember Kurt Franklin was, asked about, his motives, singing at the BET Awards. Well, not singing, but performing at the BET Awards. So, these things are questions that we, discuss. And it's good that Donnie, spoke his mind about, Donnie McClurkin spoke his mind about the gospel music industry, because it always has to be somebody that really, stands up for, the truth and what needs to be done, in the gospel world. So shout out to Donnie McClurkin for that video, for his views. That's basically it, what I wanted to, discuss. Donnie McClurkin really talking about the gospel music industry and about things that's, been going on in the gospel music industry. Appreciate y'all watching. The fact that Darian said the fact that Kirk and Fred Hammond didn't own their masters told me everything I need to know about the gospel music industry. Yeah, that's crazy, because both of them has written so many great gospel songs, in history, and they still not getting the recognition they deserve, as far as not recognition, but they're not getting the same amount that the secular world get, for writing these things. And so that's the masters thing is a big deal, as far as especially artists. A lot of people in the secular world, artists in the secular world, they're really learning the industry and how they've been treated, and they've been gaining their masters. I heard a story 1 or 2 years ago, Anita Baker just finally got her masters. So that's crazy. That trips me out. She just got her masters. Chris Brown, some other people, they got their masters recently. So that's crazy, But that's how the industry, both gospel and R&B, secular industry, does. So and shout out to again Donnie McClurkin for his views on the gospel music industry, and also appreciate y'all for watching. I have my music tips and reviews with JG Hoodies. If you want to purchase those, it's going to be on the bottom of this video. It's on the bottom of previous videos I did if you want to purchase a hoodie from me. So I appreciate y'all for watching. I always appreciate y'all support, those who tuned in. So this has been another video from your boy JG. Alright, peace.